Hello.
Well, hello. I haven't shared this out because I haven't even got my phone with me.
Oh,
I don't even know where the phone is.
oh no, that's not.
It's around somewhere. But we've got nobody watching. But what we'll do is we'll still chat away to each other anyway. Oh, William's on. Hi, William.
Oh, I should change. I
Hi,
can't.
Sarah.
Oh, there you go.
Hi,
There.
Sarah. So, apologies for being late this evening. It's totally my fault. We travelled back from North Yorkshire today. So it was a long old drive. Hi, Irene.
Hi, Irene.
Hope you're feeling better, Irene.
Yeah.
So it was a mad dash back here, quick change, and I was out for an appointment then after that. And I'd not long got home.
Wow.
So I've done a lot of travelling today. It's about 5 hours in total in the car. So yeah, so I'm feeling pretty ropey, to say the least.
All that traveling and time out and
But it was great though to see. I managed to meet up with Mark from the Dark Mirror show. It's always good to see Mark and Rachel out and about. And there's been lots of plans for Things Network UK or Things UK. So there's going to be lots of events and things to do in time to come. So watch out for that. I know that it will kick off properly next year, but we're now in the just the planning stages. So there's lots coming in. And of course, Eric's part of the Things United Kingdom.
yep.
So when he comes over here, we'll be doing things with Eric as well. So, Eric, tonight we're supposed to be talking about the Fae.
Mm-hmm.
And our expert on the Fae,
It's not
he's
here.
not here. He's not here. We're not sure where he is or what he's doing, but yeah, I haven't been able to catch up with Dan, to be honest. Um, so yeah,
I hope he's okay.
I'm sure he is. I think he's. I bet he's forgotten all about
I,
us.
mm,
So, but anyway, you've got the diehards here, which is myself and Eric over there.
Except I don't know that much about the Fae. I mean, I know they exist. I've seen them on TV here and there on like supernatural shows and stuff like that. But
I know that people, when they talk about the Fae, people imagine them to be really pretty little fairies like Tinkerbell twittering around
not.
and yeah, but they're not. The Fae can actually be quite nasty.
Mm.
The goblins got him, yeah.
Yeah, I
Actually,
think so.
goblins aren't goblins part of the Fae
Well,
family?
yeah, they're very well. Yeah, they would be. I mean, it's part of that realm. I mean, just like imps, um, goblins. What else is there? The ones that the spirits that protect the forest would be part of that too. I would think.
Yeah. Hi, Rita. Divine and I went to Astoria. Went to visit the Fae yesterday. See,
Really? Wow.
over in Ireland, people actually fear the Fae. And I know that there's a lot of folklore that the Fae used to steal babies and they'd
Yeah.
go missing. And they're actually not nice creatures. They're quite mischievous, and some of them are really hellish. And they used to use iron, a lot of iron around the house uh, to prevent the Fae from gaining entrance into properties, even to the point where the wrought iron, what would you call it? The great thing that holds the wood and the coals to burn in your chimney to
Oh
heat the
yeah.
house.
Yeah.
Yeah, they make that out of wrought iron deliberately to stop the Fae from entering through the chimney. Um,
Mm, nice to know.
so yeah, the Fae, do you know what? They come in all shapes and sizes. I remember Dan ringing me frantically one morning after an investigation. Now, he left my house. It must have been about 3-4 o'clock in the morning, and
Yeah.
he has about an hour's drive to get home. And he was virtually home, coming off one of the main dual carriageways in England here,
Mm.
and he saw. Now, listen to this: a naked man with ivory white skin crouched down at the side of the road, holding his head like this.
Uh-huh.
He said he had blonde hair. He remembers seeing blonde or white coloured hair. Here he is, talking to the devil.
Good evening, everybody. Everybody in the chat. Hello, everybody.
Just talking about your
Experience.
you saw that thing at the side of the road when you was going home on the investigation that frightened you, the Faye thing.
Yes, yeah, it terrified me. Yeah, and I'm not really used to not that level of fear. I mean, I do obviously get frightened. Of course I do,
Yeah.
like everybody else. And I think if people don't admit to that, then they're either kidding themselves or they're just liars.
Yep.
Yeah.
But so yeah, on investigations I get nervous sometimes. I get a bit scared, a bit frightened, a bit nervous, and what have you. But I never get that bad. For example, when I've seen things, I've always pushed the boundaries and gone forward to explore and find out what about them. But I saw this thing coming back from yours. It was in the early hours of the morning, and I was on my way back. I think it must have been about 3:30 in the morning, and we'd just finished an investigation, and I was driving back along the A10, and it was raining, and it was freezing cold.
Yeah.
And then there was a car in front of me, and he gone ahead, but as I looked to the left, I don't know why I looked to the left, and there was a man, and he was completely naked in a bush. But the thing was that he was kneeling and looking, and I made direct eye contact with him. Now, normally that would make me inquisitive, or I would think to myself, "Oh, that's a drunk, or that's somebody who's been on a stag night, and his friends have chucked him out for a laugh. Got to make his way back." You would think that, wouldn't you? But there was something about this. It was like, well, no, they wouldn't do that because it was dangerous because it was freezing cold and raining. Your friends aren't going to do that, because you're liable to get hypothermia or what have you. And there was something about this, whatever it was. I mean, let's call it a man for now, for want of a better description. But there was something about him that just I went cold, and that doesn't really happen to me. But I know when I go really cold, and it does happen on occasion, that's the level of fear in me that just goes, right, you got to get out of here. And I broke eye contact with him, and I just looked ahead. And even now, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. And the level of fear or the level of cold that went through me, my neck just went like a block of ice. And I could feel it going up and down my back, like an ice, somebody rubbing ice up and down my back.
Yeah.
And it put the hackles up. And then I just wanted to get the hell out of there. I didn't want to anything to do with it. Didn't want anything to do with it.
Because you said to me, did you think I should have called the police in case it was an escapee from the mental home or something?
Yeah, I didn't know what it was. Then I thought to myself, well, I don't know. But then I think you looked up and you said there's not one near it or something, didn't you?
No.
I think you looked at, you researched to see if there's one like a home near it or what have you. But I don't think you didn't find anything. But it was just odd because normally that wouldn't bother me. But oh God, I'll pull over, make sure they're all right. Might be pissed up, might be whatever, might be. Even with a mental patient, you think, well, maybe I shouldn't do that. But this was beyond that. This was like an unearthly fear. Yeah. Now, I don't know. I always say, well, it could have been a person. Of course it could have been. But personally, I would never get that level of fear unless it was something that I felt that was...
Yeah. But it didn't seem right, though. Didn't seem right, though, to you, did it? The way he was.
Everything about it, Viv, everything about this experience was red flags. It was, this is not right. This just doesn't sit well.
Well, was he like unusually skinny?
Yeah, he was. I mean, he was quite well. I mean, he wasn't big. Mm-hmm. He was like a thin guy, but he was all there. He was quite like, he wasn't
muscles.
Yeah, he was like fit, fit looking chap. Mm. And it just struck me as really well. It was really odd. But that was an experience that I had that I sort of, and that, I mean, even when I saw that girl that was standing at the side of the road, which has got, I can't find an answer. It's got to be a spirit. I think she must have been.
I
Even
would.
though I turned around and went back, you know,
Yeah.
I wasn't that bothered because I thought, you know what, if it is, it is. If it isn't, it isn't. But with this, it was no, I don't want to get anywhere near that. Hi, you Sarah. Hope you're doing good. Yeah, I'm feeling okay, thank you.
Does he look good to you, Sarah? Is he looking good? Is he looking suave and sophisticated and back to normal health? We'll tell in a minute when he gets cheeky. Trust you, Annette.
It was
They
iron,
used-
yeah.
Yeah. I
They
just
used
said
iron.
iron. I just said that they were using iron in the iron, you know, the iron that holds all the coals and that on a chimney to stop the fade.
Yeah.
coming
And there's a
down the
reason for
chimney.
that. The reason for that is, I think it comes back from Ireland, really. Is
Mm.
because what it was, there was a tribe in Ireland called the Tuatha De Danann. And the Tuatha De Danann were...
Say that when you're drunk.
Yeah, I know. And it was so bad. And what they were, they believed them to be ancestors of the fairies or the fae from over the... And so it was always a little bit skeptical of them, always a little bit, you know, in respect and fear of them. And it turns out they were the Beaker people.
Right.
Which was an ancient tribe. You know that. I mean, you know that anyway. But the thing was that they say that they thought they'd be frightened of iron because iron at that time, weapons were made out of it.
Yeah.
And so they thought that they would be frightened of the weapons, and that's where it came from. The fear that they would have had against the weapons would have been the fear that
it doesn't burn them. It doesn't burn them.
Well, I think there's still, because obviously it's still used today. But as you know, none of this was really written down, and it was all word of mouth. So a lot of history either gets changed or lost, or so it might still be. I think there's probably more behind it than that, but that's one of the reasons.
Bryce naked. He's just got out the shower. Talking about a naked man.
Get it to where it looks bigger.
Right. Oh, mortise locks. She's talking about Irene's talking about the mortise locks on the graves.
Yes.
But that was more to stop the grave robbers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But later on, people say, "Oh, vampires," that sort of thing. But it wasn't.
It wasn't. No.
It was to stop the grave robbers.
Yeah, that all started since Burke and Hare, didn't it?
Yeah, it was rife over here. I suppose I don't know. I can't speak for the rest of Europe or the world, but over here it was rife. They were just taking people's cadavers and selling them onto the medical profession.
Yeah.
They probably did it in the States as well, I would imagine.
Did they do that in the States? Steal the bodies and give them to...
I'm sure they had way back then, but we don't have, even in our oldest graveyard, I don't think we have a thing to prevent people from digging up a body. You know, we don't have those metal gates over them.
Yeah, it's quite an odd thing, isn't it? That I mean, but the thing is, there was good money in it, wasn't there? Then,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Burke and Hare were more. They believed they were more murderers than they were grave thieves.
Oh,
but that's why they introduced using convicted felons if they were executed or they died. That is why the government said, right, okay, we're going to pass a law where those bodies automatically be given to the medical profession, so they kind of eliminated then or stopped people from grave robbing.
Yeah, but you know what? Going back to the Fae, as we took this tonight's discussion, Dan, in case you didn't realise, was all about the Fae.
I did see it, yeah.
Which we know nothing about, so he said our expert isn't here, which is you.
Hey, I got an important question to ask first, Dan. Did you get your skull and do you like it?
Yes, buddy. Yeah, thank you so much. I meant to say, I will send you a message, but yeah, thank you so much. Shall I tell them the reason I've not been on with?
Yeah.
Up to you. It's totally up to you.
I'll be completely honest with you. I've not been on because my brother is not well at the moment. He's been diagnosed with cancer. So that's the reason that I've not been on, because I'm trying to concentrate on him a lot.
Yeah.
And be there for him and stuff. I mean, he's getting treatment, you know, it's all good. But, you know, it's one of those things, isn't it? So I'm sorry I haven't been on. Million apologies to everybody. And I will try and get back as much as I can.
You was ill, though, wasn't you?
I've been ill, yeah.
I had
COVID, didn't I, the other week? I had COVID the other week. Thank you, Sarah. Bless you. Yeah. Did they do that in Japan?
Well, they did it all over the world, I think.
Wow. Bless you, Sarah. Thank you.
Hi, William.
Hiya, William.
Hey, William.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, Irene. It is. Thank you, Rita.
So, Faye, so let's not mistake these. Like, I know we have a few in the UK, not as much as as in America. Fireflies get mistaken for fairies and
Yeah.
the Fae.
They
And
do.
it is something completely different. To see fireflies, I mean, they are pretty.
They're beautiful, aren't they?
They are gorgeous.
They're gorgeous, really
Um,
stunning.
But they are not the Fae. The Fae is something completely different. And the Fae covers such a vast genre of things. So not just fairies, which are not all nice, let me tell you that.
No,
And
they're not.
they're not all tiny little Tinkerbell things.
No,
Some
that's
of them
Hollywood.
some of them are like the size of us. And some of them are smaller, some of them tiny little dwarf type things, elves.
Yep.
Could
Yeah,
be confused.
Yeah,
They're all still part of the Fae. Goblin.
yeah. They're all those mythical, magical. Well, not so much mythical, but certainly magical creatures.
But one of my favourite. Now I don't know if this is part of the Fae. Now Dan might be able to tell me. Is the Banshee part of the Fae?
Yeah,
family?
she's actually the Banshee. Is she's I can't remember what it is. She means fairy,
right.
and I think ban. I can't think what ban. It's an old Irish word. It means something, but
Horrible
I
fairy.
can't think. No, I think it means under the hill. Or she
Mhm.
means fairy, but she also means under the hill because the Irish used to believe that the fairies came from under the. They lived in the ancient mounds, the prehistoric mounds.
Yeah.
Because they don't believe, and there's still it's still belief today that those mounds weren't actually built for burials, that they were utilised for burials later on. And now they're saying that
no wonder they're angry.
Well, yeah, I mean the one in Newgrange, which is they say it's about 5,000 years old. They say it's older than Stonehenge. Well, now that they've looked at it, I don't know how they've dated it, but they've dated it, and they think it's more like 11 to 12,000 years old.
Oh.
So you're going way back, you know, which is
Mm.
why now you've seen the guy, the you know, Viv, because you watched him, the guy who's the reporter, that he's doing all the
Yes.
historical evaluation, and he's banned from Egypt because he's called them out on the tombs there, and the age of the tombs and what have you, and he's also he believes that there's a lot more history to these things than what we're being told.
The archaeologists and the historians do not like him because he goes back further to right the way to ancient civilizations and further still. And he's done his own investigating, and he's had experts come in and talk and all the rest of it. But he has called out, and it rewrites our history. And because it rewrites our history, the archaeologists and the historians don't like him because what they teach in schools is not correct. What we've all learned is not correct.
No.
It goes back even further still. And dare I even mention it, with other deities and beings being involved as well. So, it's not just history, it's also faith.
Yeah,
it will rock.
yeah,
So
yeah.
they don't like talking about him, do they, or even mention
No,
him?
because he's near the mark, and he's actually. And now you've got other people that are actually bona fide scientists that are now jumping on the bandwagon with him and saying, you know what, he's got a point.
Yeah.
Mark.
Hi, folks. And the Fae are more real than we actually think.
Oh, without
I've
a
never
doubt,
seen
Mark.
any, but the more I listen on things about them, it's getting me interested. Honestly, you'd
They're
be
amazing.
scared. They are scary.
They're terrifying. That's the thing. A lot of people think that these little fluffy things like Tinkerbell and that, yeah, some of them, they're different sizes and what have you. But that's why the Irish call them the good people, because they don't offend them.
Yeah.
So they call them the good people. So they're always, in Ireland, they always, they'll doff their cap or they'll respect what's going on. And even in Ireland now, like I think it's a white sage tree or a white hawthorn, I think it is, you can't move it. They won't move it. Even today, they built a road in Ireland recently, and they circumnavigated this tree, and it cost extra millions and millions and millions of pounds more because they didn't want to upset the Fae.
Yeah.
So it's still, you know, there's a lot of truth to be said there.
Hi, Naomi. I need to ring you this week, so I will
Hi,
message
Naomi.
you after the show, Naomi. I promise. I promise. I promise. We've got so much to catch up on.
But
Bless
somebody
her.
told me this the other day. Okay, the government just came out with the fact that there's aliens, real aliens. Okay, now if aliens exist, then everything else has to exist.
Mm.
See, I'm contentious with aliens
Mm.
because I do believe that there's life out there on other planets, and I do believe that there's. I mean, we're in something called the Goldilocks zones at the moment, aren't we? Which is everything is perfect to create life, and so for that to happen astronomically is almost on the verge of impossibility, but it's not
Yep.
because we know that it happens. So we're in what's called the Goldilocks zone. So you got water, oxygen, hydrogen, you got everything that creates this, the first spark of life.
Mm.
And where aliens are concerned, I believe that there are obviously aliens, but I don't think that they're here. I don't think that I think that what we're seeing is something entirely different.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. Yeah, leprechauns. Yeah, they're
Yep.
number one as a part of the favourite,
Especially over in Ireland.
especially in Ireland. Yeah, the Irish. Yeah, love
I'm trying to find out what Fae is in Japanese. Is there another name for them?
I don't know, but do you know what? This is the thing, Irene. If you go globally, see, this is the one thing that has always thrown me. They've
Mhm.
always said that the world is so big that these cultures and these people have never ever met each other. They've never connected to each other. But it's amazing because they've all got similar fairy tales, myths, and legends and ideas.
Mm.
And so, for people not to be able to do that, not to be able to meet, how did these ideas and these form these things? So, I think people have been connected for a lot longer than history gives it credit.
Oh yeah.
I think there is Fae in Japan, you know, Irene.
Oh,
They're everywhere.
When I think about your woodlands and the nature spirits, I don't know what you would call them in Japan. That would be part of Fae. Even going into parts of Asia and stuff where you have the rice fields, the paddy fields,
Mhm.
there are spirits of the paddy fields. They would show themselves in the way of a serpent and that sort of thing. That
Mhm.
must be part of Fae as well, because they would do prayers for a successful harvest and all the rest of it, and
Mhm.
and they would be scared of these creatures in I'm calling them creatures just for argument's sake, of what lies in that paddy field. So it's not just the venomous snakes that do live there anyway. There's other creatures and mythical creatures
Yeah.
that would be there. And if they're mythical, where did the stories come from initially? There must be an element of truth in them, you know, and this
Definitely.
goes right across the world. So I don't know. So that question would be answered by yourself, Irene, as something that you would have to
Mm.
look
But they're
at.
definitely there. They're everywhere. They're
Yeah,
everywhere. They're all over the world globally. I think as well that I would even go to the point of saying that mythical, magical creatures. So I would, under that umbrella, I would put things like dragons.
yeah.
Mhm. Yep, that's what I was gonna say. Something about that. You
But
think?
Do you
Well,
know
they've
what?
written
I don't
about
know what that. I mean,
yeah, but they've written about dragons for centuries. You look at the Aztecs that talk about the winged serpent.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, I mean, the thing is, it's not that much of a stretch to believe that they could be from a different dimension. We don't know how many times our dimensions have
Very.
overlapped each other.
yeah.
Yeah, very, yeah.
These writers thinking up these ancient things, are they just their imagination or are they real in their subconscious? But if you go back to, honestly, if you can watch it, please watch it. There is a program on Netflix airing right now called Ancient Civilizations. I don't know if you'll be able to download it through
That's good.
other streaming, but watch this guy and make up your own minds. I watch these things with an open mind. I don't shut myself off to it. I keep my mind open and I listen to what he has to say. Now, he went to certain parts of the world that I've actually visited and seen for myself with my own eyes. And when he talks he doesn't make these theories and things. He goes out, investigates, and he talks to the people there.
Mm.
And from those conversations, make up your own minds. Honestly, I can't. This guy's amazing.
He's amazing, yeah. He's
Absolutely
phenomenal.
amazing. And I think he's amazing. Aliens may be Fae too, says
Yeah.
Mark.
I'm thinking that it's all the same kind of dimensional
Thanks, Andy.
features coming in, from other places, and that's all they are. It's just all the same thing, but just different forms of it.
I would say things like Bigfoot and Dogmen are probably part of the Fae, nature spirits, what have you.
But
And they were saying, well, they're tearing people apart and killing people and what have you. Well, yeah, they will do.
William says everything is
Yeah,
vibration.
absolutely,
It moves,
William.
and absolutely
Absolutely.
spot on.
And
Because
you
I think
you can't argue with that.
without
Absolutely.
vibration, there is just no life.
No, it's an
regardless.
unalienable truth. It's an unalienable truth. It's true.
Irene says she's just sent you both a Faye picture. Let's have a look at this Faye
Oh.
picture. Irene. Whoa. We like pictures.
get off at the same time. So
Let's have a look at this picture.
Is this the
Maybe I can-
Japanese one, Irene?
Yep.
Ooh. Let me see if
Oh,
I can.
Yukai.
Let me just open this up so you can see it better on the screen. There you go, guys.
Yeah, that looks about right. Yeah, that looks like Fae to me.
So they're not all
Descriptions
pretty,
and
are they? Some of them are
No.
quite grotesque. If you saw that in a grotesque form, you would. I'm sorry, but you would shit your pants. If you saw it,
Yeah.
if you saw it all looking beautiful and full of light and lovely little wings fluttering there, you'd fall in love with it. But please wake up, everyone. They're not what Hollywood depicts them to be.
No.
Honestly, they're not.
And do not piss them off, whatever you do.
The dragonfly.
Yeah, they're beautiful
Society.
dragonflies.
that's what I was talking about last time. I saw that one video that they had on Paranormal Con camera.
I love dragons.
Kids were looking at a dragonfly, and all of a sudden it turned around and it had head, arms, legs.
Oh, what, like a person?
Yeah, it looked like a little fairy. But it wasn't like, it was pretty like a dragonfly, but when it looked at you, it had like antenna and arms and wings and legs. And
Yeah, it's intriguing, isn't it? It's intriguing.
yes, I got it. Thank you.
Everything comes through word of mouth, so got to be truth in all stories and legends. A lot of stories and legends, some of them, weren't they made up to keep children or unruly people in order? They would make this horror story up just to keep you in line. I'm going to say something that's quite controversial now. Just like certain faiths do, they would tell you this story to keep you in line. If you don't do this, you're going to burn in hell. You're going to go to purgatory. You'll never get out of purgatory. You're going to meet the devil, or and they put the fear in. They put the fear in front of you.
It's always good to use fear, because fear means that you can control the population, doesn't it?
Yeah. Fae is considered as a yukai. I like that name. I like that name.
Yeah, that's cool, isn't it? Yukai.
Spooky yukai. That could be me. Myths to become legends and stories and can be sometimes become reality.
Well, sometimes
Yes.
they are reality.
Oh, do you know what? When you talk about something and you believe it's so hard,
Yep, you can create it.
you can create it. Is it not a form of intention, a form of magic, a form of... It
Yep.
gets a bit more deeper, doesn't it?
Paranormal.
Yeah, to me, I just think that the reality is that there are other dimensions out there, and that they come from,
Absolutely.
they bleed through from those.
And that happened to a pair of paranormal investigators. They were talking to this one entity, spirit or whatever, and it was called Zombie Boy. And they said, okay, well, is this something that they created when people go in and say, oh, this myth of the Zombie Boy? So they gave the Zombie Boy guy like a family, siblings, and everything else. And it came back. Even a psychic picked up on that Zombie Boy with all the family and stuff that they just created, just that instant.
They did it with Philip in Canada, didn't they? The experiment in the 70s and 60s. And they it became a thought form,
Yeah.
they believe. Where did gargoyles come from? Well, gargoyles are just part and parcel of, I mean, the ones that you see on churches now aren't actually called gargoyles. They're called grotesques.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what they're meant to be ugly, and what they're meant to do is they're meant to dispel evil.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I say gargoyles come from France, from Notre Dame. They're on top of the church, but be careful because they might have bed bugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a theory, doesn't it?
Gargoyles are actually pagan. Yes, they are, aren't they?
Well, they all are, aren't they? Really, like fairies, the whole lot of fae and what have you.
Books are not true. Not all books are true.
There's a little bit of truth in everything that you hear or in a story. It doesn't mean that's all true. It just means a little bit of it is.
But think about it. When you pray or you set a spell or you do a ritual, you put thought forms straight into that in manifestations, like in a form, like you pray to God, I'll get this job tomorrow. Pray to God, I'll win a little bit on the lottery. I pray to God, whatever. You pray hard enough, you keep doing that same prayer over and over and over again, something manifests. I'm not saying you're going to be a multi-millionaire overnight on the lottery, but you might win a £10 win. That is your win on the lottery. So the thought form, like if you believe in the fae, if you are that scared of the fae, chances are you're going to come across one. Yep. Surely, and if you do come across one, please, if you're a paranormal investigator out there and you're investigating woods and forests and things, looking for Bigfoot, Dogman, whatever, or even in search of the fae, please be respectful, because honestly, you do not want to cross one. You do not want to shit. Same with Bigfoot. Can be
very nasty, but
Yep.
Gargoyles. Actually, I've got gargoyles on my fence posts. I've got gargoyles on my fence posts and one on my house, just to be different. He's there to protect. He's there to protect the house, but he don't, does he, Dan?
Yeah.
No. It's like Loch Ness. Everyone sees. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, Irene.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it is very, very, very interesting, this whole subject on the fae. Like, what is it? We're heading very swiftly towards Christmas. Is Krampus part of the fae? This is legend of Krampus that, comes and takes away the naughty children. Is that a myth? Is it just a story? Did it actually exist? Because when you look at Ireland, when the fae were stealing the children, did we get that story from back to those Celtic roots over in Ireland, talking about the fae?
Yeah.
Oh, I think the thing that people don't realise about Celts is that they came originally from sort of southern Europe. Yeah. So they became Italy and Spain and places like that, and they settled over in places like Ireland and Scotland and what have you, and Wales. And so a lot of that myth and legend has been carried sort of right away across Europe. In Ireland, there was a case in Ireland back in the sort of late 19th century, early 20th century, where they believed that the girl I think she must have had mental health problems, but they thought that she was a changeling.
I remember that.
She was about 20 or something, but they killed her and burned her in the end.
Yeah, and I remember that
because they thought it was a fae that she was a changeling. So it's very odd. They kept her strapped up in a room and everything. Oh. And this is how entrenched in these beliefs some people are. Yeah, we do. We do.
Loads and loads. Yeah. So come on, tell us about the American fae, Eric.
I don't know
about the fae in America.
I don't know anything about them at all.
Have we sparked an interest in them?
Bigfoot and Dogman are the same creature, just different form of it.
Yeah, do you know what? It's with the. I heard last night somebody talking about. I asked a question: is Dogman and Bigfoot connected? Because there's been some reports here in the UK of Dogman So we're going to go down this rabbit hole now. Here we go. So there was an air base, so I'm going to say somewhere in the middle of England, and there was a forested area, and the police were called to remove, I think it was about 8 or 9, they called them dummies models, you know, like the Taylor dummy. But what happened was there was reports of a creature looking like a dog, but actually stands up.
Mhm.
And as this creature stands up, it's quite tall. It's about 7 foot tall in total. It's a big thing that stands up that had been spotted. But when they went to this wooded area, which is right next to this airbase, to remove these Taylor's dummies, for the sake of the press, that's what they were calling them, Taylor's dummies, they actually removed human bodies that had been torn apart.
Wow.
So there was something that was killing people and taking the bodies back to this area. And in this small area, there were these 9 bodies that they'd found, some of them in more advanced stages of decomposition than others. There was even a fresh kill. But not only that, there were cattle mutilations that were happening as well. And they just made up, you know, this myth.
Yeah.
But other people had seen this huge thing that stood up like, and it looked like a dog. It had a muzzle on it and all sorts. But what was very interesting at this place in the middle of England somewhere, a gamekeeper was in his hide, like a cottage that he had. It's in a state of disrepair, but it was useful for him for what he needed to do overnight. And he was there, and as he was lying in his bed and looked at this window, because there was a shadow that was cast across the room from the firelight, and this thing was standing there. It had a head, cone-shaped head, no neck, very broad shoulders, and he was calling it Dogman. But when he went outside and showed you how high this window was and what he described, he was describing Bigfoot, but in the same area as Dogman had been seen. So why are the two coming in together in somewhere like England? It's just very strange, and how not just the government, but the local agency wanted to cover up what was really going on there for the sake of the airbase and not create attention. Was it to stop people from being scared en masse? Was it to keep people away? Was it, oh yeah, it's nothing, it's just someone playing a prank, you know, just everyone goes through their normal day-to-day business? But it was very interesting. All this data and information was collated and brought together, and to see what was going on there at that time. And apparently, to this day, there are still sightings of this creature, whatever it is. I'm not saying it's Bigfoot, I'm not saying it's Dogman, but whatever it is, people are still seeing it to this day. But yeah, I'm intrigued personally.
I think the one that fascinates me is the one at Cannock Chase,
Yes.
where they've seen that Dogman, and he's seen around the German cemetery,
Yes.
German war cemetery. Now, the reason that intrigues me, that's all right. The reason that intrigues me is because a lot of the myth and legend of the werewolf originated from Germany.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if there's something been exported over here with the Germans, or I don't know. I really don't know. But it just seems a bit the connection there between the two, between the Dogman or the werewolf, that you want to call it, whatever you want to call it, and the German cemetery. It never leaves the German cemetery apparently, and it just prowls around there. But it's just amazing. Oh, could you send me the link to that, please, William, if you don't mind? I'd love to have a look at that.
That'd be cool.
Thanks in advance.
Yeah. Werewolf.
Yep.
Is that where the legend of the werewolf comes from?
I don't know. I mean, there's difference in the way they present themselves. Like, a werewolf is a man that changes into a wolf. But I think it could be. I think it could all be connected. I think what they're just seeing as different mutations of Bigfoot. So
I think the interesting thing is there's the thing in America. The guy who was he's a sheriff, and there you go, Mark. Get yourself down there, but not when it's dark, and don't hang around the German cemetery. the guy in America is the sheriff, and he went camping with his friend, who was a deputy with him, and they went into the woods, and he went out. Just for example, one morning they got up, and his friend said, "Well, I'm going to go hunting this way," and he said, "Well, I'm going to go that way. I want to go for a walk." And he went for a walk, and he went miles and miles and miles, and then all of a sudden he heard this truck coming through this beaten path, and there was a pickup truck, and the guy came and he talking to each other, and but before this policeman had felt that something was watching him and looking at him, and he thought, he just couldn't put his mind. It was odd, just odd, and in certain parts of the forest where it went silent, where nothing was moving, and he knew, being a hunter, he was kind of in tune with nature, and he knew what was going on, or he thought he did. So anyways, met this guy, and he met this guy. Turns out this guy was a firefighter. So they were ribbing each other about, oh, one was a copper and one was a firefighter. So they were just gentle poking fun at each other.
Yeah.
But they made friends, and the firefighter said to him, "Oh, be careful, there's something out in the woods. Not sure what it is, but I think it was around my camp the other night."
Oh.
So anyway, he said, "Yeah, no problem." So he bid farewell to him. The firefighter drove off to his camp. The cop turned around and went back to his camp. And then his friend turned up, and he was telling his friend about what was going on. And then that night, they started to hear things walking around the camp, and they thought, "What's that?" He said they got out. He said, and there was these, for want of a better description, there was about 3 or 4 of them, werewolves.
No.
They'd surrounded them, but they were backed up against this, I guess, cliff. But there was also werewolves up top, throwing rocks down at them. So it was like they got in a pincer movement. So like, crap, what are we going to do? So anyway, they got into this skirmish, and they shot at them, shot at these wolves, what have you, these werewolves, these dogmen. And then they said, what we did, we got into the pickup truck, because they had their truck there, and we drove as far as possible, get out of the woods. He said, and these things were following us. He said, and then when we got out of the woods, he went, there was Bigfoots there. He said, and the Bigfoots, it was almost like they were communicating with these dogmen and telling them what to do, where to go, and how. So it was like they were using them like we would use guard dogs.
Oh, wow.
He said, so anyway, we got out of there, he said, and we got out into this big open field, and he said, and I got on top of this truck with a machine, like an assault rifle. He said, and I had to wait there till the light came up so we can get away. He said, my friend he was in the thing, he said, anyway, he didn't realise that he got home, but he didn't realise that he'd had a heart attack while all this was going on. It stressed him so much, he had a heart attack. So anyway, he said to his friend obviously works in the same police station as him. This is true, all true. The guys as well. If I find out his name, I'll let you know. And it was in, so his friend said, he went to see his friend because his friend wasn't at work. So he went to see his friend, and his friend said, I'm not going back to work ever again. He said, excuse me, he went, I don't ever want to see you again.
Ooh.
And he said to his friend, because it reminded him, the fear was so bad, it reminded him of the situation that they were in. So he said, okay, I understand, fine. He said, but I want to tell everybody what went on. He said, not while I'm alive. Because he was embarrassed.
Why would he be embarrassed by it?
Because they're both police officers, and he didn't want people ridiculing them. I suppose he was just embarrassed. Like people say, you know what people like with ghosts? They'll see one, but they won't admit to it.
Yeah.
You know, because they're frightened of being ridiculed. And especially, I guess, in that environment. So he said, no, that's fine. So anyway, his friend passed away, and then he came out with the story. He asked his family, would it be okay? And I said, yeah, now you can do it. And then he came out and he divulged the story. And he'd never ever been hunting ever since. And I'll tell you where it was. It was in LBL, the Land Between the Lakes, where they have a massive problem with dogmen. Now, apparently, there's a story out there as well. Not a story, I think it's a lot of facts towards it. This kid had met up with his family in this area in the LBL, the Land Between the Lakes, which is a big park, part of a national park. And they've got this dogman problem. And they had like this, one of these family, you know, like they have these big RVs in the States, don't they? And he said that he was, I don't know what happened. He was there, his family had gone off, and he got on this RV with his friend. He said, next thing you know, the mother was at the back, and then he'd heard a scream. And then as he looked out, he went, there was a dog man, broad daylight, had torn her throat out. He said, the father tried to get the kids on the coach, on the RV, and lock the doors, but then go out there with a gun. Of course, these things had got in. There was 4 of them. they got in, but the guy had managed to shoot one with a like a shotgun and pushed it into a tree, smashed it straight into a tree. See, when that was dead, that thing was dead. So anyway, he's hid my coach as one of these things have gone through it, killing the other people on the coach. So the little boy that he was with got killed. The mother was killed. The little boy, the father, one of the other siblings. They looked what the whole family out. And he said he stayed there hidden until these things went. Then obviously it's a crime scene. So the police turn up, cover this whole thing up, remove the dog man. He saw him removing it and said, "Oh no, I don't know what he's on about."
Yeah, I've heard that. The police or the military try to cover up so much, and it's all coming out now. I mean, when I heard the story of the tactical assault team that killed a family of Bigfoots, it broke my heart. And I'll just quickly tell people the story. Out in the States, I can't remember where it was. They go and patrol the forest because of the people that grow a lot of cannabis illegally or opium. I don't know what it is they're growing out there, but they go out there. The military are doing it just to keep them contained and controlled, and they destroy the cannabis farms. Anyway, they were out in a place, and it was an armoured vehicle with a team of 5 people on board this armoured vehicle. They had gone out to do a daily sort of check, or what would you call it, when they go around a perimeter and just check there's nothing there. But there were other military around the area as well. But this particular armoured vehicle had gone out and had come smack face to face with, it seemed like, a mother and a father and 2 babies. And of course, like, Daddy Bigfoot is going to want to protect the family because the babies are sitting there all crouched down with the mother. Anyway, one of them opened fire, and it's like it didn't affect the Bigfoot at all. So then they did the full-on attack and killed the whole family. And even the big alpha male Bigfoot, even though it was under heavy fire, still managed to get up and try to attack this armoured vehicle. And it said when one of them managed to get a gun at point blank range and shot it in the head, it's the only time it went down. But they killed the whole family. The minute that happened and they had to radio in, the bodies were there. The smell was bad. This guy was saying that he was recanting the smell of these creatures. One of the babies didn't die immediately and had to be shot again in the head by one of the other people. This guy that actually shot the baby was the one that was talking about it. Anyway, they radioed in to explain what happened. And then the next thing you know, these other people swoop in. They take these guys there and then. They put them in another vehicle to drive them away. Then they start the clear up operation. They're taken to a hospital, but all 5 men were separated. They were all separated because they were being sick from the smell, really physically throwing up, and they had the shakes, and they went into shock and all the rest of it. But they were told by the military not to talk about it ever again. The 5 guys that were all together were all separated to the point where when they were released from hospital, they never saw each other again. They were all kept separate. But it was just the way you hear this guy recanting and talking about it. And I just can't understand why you would want to kill something like that straight away because it's unusual, it's big. Why shoot it? And this is just me talking, Viv. Like, you see something beautiful, something in nature like that, drive on by, don't disturb them. Why would you need to point guns at them? I
think because a lot of humans are pricks, aren't they? Unfortunately, and they're not happy unless they're killing something.
Well, we got some things in the chat. Let's just run through them quickly. Apologies if I go through them again. Bryce says they think Dogman is a werewolf.
Very well, could be.
William Southey is my mother-in-law. Yes, Bry, Wolfman and Dogman and Bigfoot are all werewolf.
Mm.
My mate used to have a wolf called Weir.
Really?
Yeah.
Hi, Jeanette. Mark says, Canuck is down the road from me.
Get down there, Mark.
During the war, weren't they experimenting with UFO and wolves? Gosh darn, imagine what catastrophe would happen.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you never know what the Nazis were up to, do you? Because there were all sorts of weird and wonderful things.
Weren't they
So
into
maybe
their
that's-
cult so heavily, Dan?
Big time into the occult. Big time into the occult, yeah.
It would explain why no one can find them by day as they are in human form. Now that's a strange theory. Like they walk around in human form, but by night they change into something else.
Yeah, it could be like you got like what do they call them? The American, the shapeshifters,
Yeah.
Yep. Skinwalkers.
skinwalkers.
They make good horror films, though.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. Vampires, anyone? Fangs and what they
used to be.
Mm.
Thanks for the memories. That's Frank Sinatra, or Fang Sinatra.
Hi, Kelly.
Hi,
Hello.
Kelly. Yeah, good. Thank you.
Kelly was in Blackpool. Ooh, very nice. Looking at the illuminations.
Oh yeah, Kelly loves Blackpool, doesn't she?
Yeah. I love our vampire movies, not like the stuff you see today.
Rubbish the stuff today. Rubbish.
Well, I wasn't enamoured with Nosferatu. I thought that was quite boring.
Yeah.
Oh, well, the old one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Peter Cushing and Christopher
you're
Lee,
talking.
Hammer Horrors.
Love
Yes.
Cushing and Christopher Lee.
Oh,
Bill.
They should bring all that back, you know, the Hammer House of Horror.
Cliff said, I did a poll on a spooky group. Okay, how many members of a spooky story to tell, but believe they would be ridiculed, I not believed if they post 24 people out of it. Do you know what? I've got one, and you know what I'm like? I'm open, but I would never tell anybody this one I have experienced because.
So long as you weren't having,
and I believe it was to do with mythical.
as long as you weren't having sex with a ghost, I suppose it would be all
No,
right.
it weren't that one. It weren't. Nothing well, that's nothing that bizarre. It was if you told people that, and I could see why they would think it was bizarre. But it's no.
Love it. Gotta love the human race. The only animal that kills just for the hell of it. Yeah, it's so true.
Well, interestingly, actually, the only other one that does it is primates, like chimps, and they're very closely related to us, aren't they?
Mm. Encroaching land in and human living more than their land creates less territorium. Silly people try to feed Bigfoot, creating problem, and they think they'll get fed more food, but we shouldn't feed the wildlife.
Exactly.
See, I'm very.
I'm terrible for feeding
no.
wildlife.
See, for me, if I lived in an area known to have Bigfoot, I would rather befriend it than make an enemy of it. And if it meant feeding it to keep it happy and to protect myself, then yes. But I do understand that at some point I'm going to pass away, and then that Bigfoot might not get fed. But
Also,
I would
it's your
hope.
land, isn't it? And
Exactly.
if that was my land, I'd be happy for him to live on it.
Yeah, I would.
No problem with that.
Yeah, I would. But Mr. Seaton's in the house.
Wayne.
Hey. Oh, yeah. Hello, mate.
Hi, Wayne.
Oh, Alf, brilliant.
If you believe in Darwin's theory, man came from ape. I thought apes were smarter.
Yeah. Well, genetically,
apples.
it's sort of 97.8% or something. I can't remember. It's very high, though, genetically.
Mm. So I think me and Bigfoot could be great mates. He can
And I
come
would like to
round.
have, I'd like to have dogmen. I'd have
See,
a
I'd
pack
have-
of them.
No, so I just like Bigfoot comes round with tea, cups of tea, you know, the fine china comes out. He'd have to have a great big bucket though, wouldn't he, I suppose?
I would just
Can you
walk
imagine?
through a town abusing people with dogmen all around me so they can't get to me. You're a prick.
Can you imagine it?
And I make my dog men wear t-shirts. We'd come and have a go if you think you're hard enough.
Just thought I'd pop in before bed up at 5 a.m. to take out
Oh,
the back
bless.
time. Oh, well, good luck for tomorrow,
Yeah, good luck, mate.
Wayne.
Good luck.
Oh, bless him. Give my love to Ellen, won't you? Do you know, my mouse doesn't work very well. It's one of these ones.
No,
I have to click everything twice. I think I need a new one, to be fair. So, yeah, the Fae. I love the Fae.
Me too.
But it's just a very vast network of
Oh, yes.
creatures.
It's
I want to
massive.
call them creatures. It's massive, isn't it?
I always just refer to them as beings. Same as us.
Beings. Oh,
That was
Irene said, I'll send you a Japanese
Yukiana spirit.
spirit. Ooh, I love the Japanese names of these things.
Yeah, they're cool, aren't they? The Japanese names for stuff like that.
you guys didn't get to see this yet, did you?
What you got? What you got?
Oh, yeah.
Let me look.
It's got a
Oh,
ball.
blimey! Is that
It's
like
quite a big ball.
what is it? Like a?
No, it's a REM ball.
That's cool.
It came up from an idea from Grizz because he said he accidentally called my REM pod a REM ball. And I go, hey, that's a good idea. So I made one.
Good idea. Good idea.
What a big one.
Like a football or a basketball.
Basketball. I think they only make them like about this big to begin with. So
You need a whole bloody separate kit bag for one of them, wouldn't you? If you had a big one.
you need to create your own. You would need to create your own mold and everything. So
That's cool.
Yeah.
I want a leprechaun one.
A leprechaun one.
Yeah. Or a fairy one, a fey one.
Mark wants a REM ball.
get a hold of me at the end of the month. That's when I'll be making more of them. So
There you go.
So let me just tell you quickly, Eric, what happened.
oh, what happened?
Oh, Dan's come.
Hello.
There he is.
You,
There you
you
go.
went,
Hello.
everybody went there, didn't they?
Just
that
you,
was
I
me.
think.
Tell me what.
So I took your skull to the graveyard
hmm
and I opened the battery, brand new battery pack, put it on, working fine, took it apart, walked up all the steps to the graveyard, put the wrong battery on the REM,
Oh,
which is why we didn't get much. So anyway, we threw out that battery away and put the correct battery on. And he said to me, why don't you use it back in the room when we get into the room? I thought, yeah, that's a good idea, because we had two adjoining rooms, because we had the attic family room. The night before, when I was laying in bed, Andy was fast asleep. I could hear footsteps on the carpet, little light footsteps. And then I heard someone going through my stuff.
Did you leave it on all night then, did you, the REM?
No, but I didn't put anything on at that point because I just thought it was a nice, modern attic room. It was lovely. And then I thought, oh shit, maybe somebody's come up the door and up the stairs and going through our stuff and trying to nick stuff. So I got up to have a look. And as you walk through, like the lights come on, they're on sensors, like nothing. So I got back into bed. Since I got back into bed, I heard the going through my stuff again. So I thought, well, I saw that, just go to sleep. So that night when we went to the graveyard, Andy said, why don't you put the REM in the other room? I went, I could do. And then I thought about it and thought, well, if this thing comes back tonight like it did last night, I'd shit myself. So I decided not to do it. I'd rather not do it. I'll just go to sleep, pretend it weren't there. But as a result of that, the owner of the property has said that she'd let a paranormal group in there. So, yeah, Mark.
Good.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't want to be scared like that.
yeah.
So, Irene wants a big ball like that.
No, like I said, at the end of the month, I'm going to be making a whole bunch of them. Ordering
There you go.
And Jeanette.
Why does need a Red Bull? Yeah.
Oh,
exciting.
yes. So, should I tell you guys what we're doing for Halloween?
Red Bull.
Because we are going to be broadcasting here on the Things Network. So for 2 hours, we are going to just have a little bit of fun. we are going to be in full makeup or masks. And we're going to do things like Ouija boards, REM pods, spirit boxes. We're just going to go mad just for a bit of spooky fun. Okay, for 2 hours. So, so our makeup, full makeup for the evening will be the rock band Kiss. That's Dan's fault.
I love Kiss.
So we're all going to be Kiss. So while I was away, I went in the goth shop and bought some white makeup. So I could do this. I got some. Yeah. So yeah, we are going to be in full Kiss makeup for
Kiss.
Halloween.
Oh, do you know what? I saw some snippets of it. I couldn't bring myself to watch it. I just couldn't. Oh
yes. So who is going to be baking or doing anything like that for our dearly departed for Halloween? Anybody?
My mum used to all make us all go to bed about 9 o'clock at night because she'd say, right, you got to go to bed now. This is all the household I grew up in. No wonder I grew up weird. She said, you got to go to bed now because it's going to be time for your ancestors, your family to come. And I'm thinking, oh, great. But then she told me they were dead ones. And so I'll be packed off to bed at 9 or 8, depending if it was week or what have you. And that was it, midweek or whatever. And that was it.
Yeah. Well, if Mark, if Eric does do a Bigfoot REM pod, I want it. It's mine. We will be celebrating as most witches do.
Good.
That's good.
Make the most of it. Enjoy it.
If you put Jeanette, if you can put full Kiss makeup on, we'll send you the link and you can come on the show. Anyone that has full Kiss makeup on can come on.
Is it misspelled that? And you mean a rotten drunk?
That's what I think he meant. I got tons of baking for Halloween and I decorated the house with a big skeleton named Bob. Oh.
Is it big out there, is it, Irene? Is it got go big out there for Halloween in Japan?
Used to get turnips from the farmer's field.
Yeah, that's the proper stuff.
Yeah. Mark Reynolds is going to fight me for it. Oh, will you now, Mark Reynolds? Let me just show you what I bought 2 days ago.
She's well hard. Don't upset her, Mark.
I'm going to go and get it done. Hold the phone.
Speaking from somebody now. Speaking from somebody who's been on the rough end of it. Where's she gone? I bet she's gone and bought a sword, hasn't she?
I don't know.
I bet she has. I like money. I bet she's gone and bought a sword. It's the type of person she. I bet. Let's wait for it. A big knife or a sword. You watch.
Be nice, Dan.
I am. Listen, honestly, I bet definitely read it. I guarantee you. So, what is that?
Oh.
Whoa! Nice. Is it a sword or a knife?
Yeah, it's a knife.
I told you, dagger.
There you go.
Told you she'd come back with a knife or a sword, dagger.
And I also have a replica Jon Snow.
Jon Snow.
Full length sword downstairs.
Nice. Did you get that the weekend as well?
But this one, I thought it was so cute. Look at that.
That's cute. Did you get yourself a Jon Snow one at the weekend?
I did, yeah.
Nice.
So come on in, Mark, if you think you're brave. I'm only joking, Mark. I just love Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones mad. But yeah, when I saw that, it just had to come home with me.
Very cool. It's very, very cool, man.
I do like
Seaside.
What, no anime? Yeah, turnips was the thing.
Yes, it is.
I haven't seen that. I'll have a look at that.
Mankini?
yeah, of course you can, Cliff.
Mankini and a glass eye. Oh, bless him. Oh, that's lovely, Irene.
Oh, that's quite cute.
You would.
Do you know what, Mark? Do you know what, Mark? We'll share. How's that?
Mm.
I can compromise. I'm a nice person, really. Oh. What? What are you saying, Robert?
Indeed,
Which-
William, indeed.
So, will anyone be doing any apart from William, any pagan and Irene, any pagan rituals? Anything they will be doing over?
Oh, I'll be celebrating it.
Yeah, needs to be
I'll
done,
be
doesn't it? Really?
lighting a few things and saying a few things and what have you.
Any-
What?
Do you know what? I'll use this on you. You know, I've got such. I'm getting a collection of knives, swords.
I
and
know
all
you
the
got
rest of
you
it.
got like, the Japanese ones downstairs as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I've got my katanas downstairs.
Katanas.
Love them. And I've got my
They're
Japanese.
quite nice. I must admit, they're quite nice.
Yeah, but I think those ones are quite sharp. The katanas. Or are
You've
they?
even
I
got like
can't
a
remember.
Gurkha.
Oh, my Gurkha dagger.
Where's he gone?
Oh, hold on.
He's in the dark.
I know I screwed up somehow. Ah, crap. I'll go out and come back in.
What's happened there? Not Page Electric.
Linda, that's where this comes from.
Oh, was that where you got it with? Ancient Warrior?
Yeah, I just love this because it's my Dogman dagger.
It's cool.
Yes.
I don't know how to get back on. All
Come out and go back in again.
right.
He's in the dark. He turned his camera off. That's what I reckon he did.
Bloody Irene. Funny as hell. William Summer, you line them out and get you some if you want. They are sexy girls in costumes or something wrong with them in UFO camp.
Oh dear. Oh no, we love Eric.
It could be, couldn't he? Eric is in another dimension. The
It's
Twinkle
great
Zone.
fun though. Twinkle its own. Hey, I wonder if you could do a REM pod, you know, like a pepperami on legs. With a face on it.
Oh, that'd be good, wouldn't it?
I don't know if they get pepperamis out there.
Ooh. I just had a thought. I'll let you know when I'm later
They
on
come off. Okay.
for an
We love
experiment.
those kind of faults.
There's young Eric.
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry about that.
Hey! I'm going to call in the quarters to see what I can manifest in the mirrors. An experiment I've been meaning to do for a long time. There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
I want to try mirror scrying one of these days.
Do it. You can do it at any time. Doesn't have to be at Halloween.
Well, I know, but I mean, I don't know how to go about it. That's why I want to do it when I get over there.
I've got some great mirrors here you can do it in. You can do it in my house. It's bad enough as it is in this house, but I'll be this Halloween I'm going to put some fruits and things out and be lighting some candles and sending out the intention prayers and putting out thoughts to my loved ones that have passed over. And if they want to come and visit and sort out the ones that decide to stay here, then they're more than welcome. Yeah, this house can be a bit naughty at times, but yeah.
Isn't that said? I'm gonna.
Oh,
Oh, the last one.
Yeah, I'm gonna call it quarters on manifest. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I read it. Sorry, I did. Yeah, that's interesting.
yeah.
Me and you both, mate.
Well, when you look in them, try a black mirror. Or you could do the dark mirror experiment on the dark mirror.
Dark mirror.
I don't do mirrors.
Dark mirror.
Why not, Wayne?
There you go. Encouragement there from Rita.
Yeah.
What's that? If I'm
Yeah.
green stuff after, have your head spins round.
Yeah.
Pea soup. There you go.
Well, Andy will have strict instructions to look after the trick-or-treaters. I'm going to miss them this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, see, with my family that have passed over, honestly, I try and speak to them all the time because I am a spiritualist medium.
Mm.
And I do try and speak to them all the time, but none of them want to bloody come and talk to me.
No,
Not one of them.
Do you know
Not
what?
one of them.
Mine are the same. It's like a bit personal, isn't it? They don't talk to you.
Yeah.
It's starting to piss me off. It's like, what have I done?
Do you know,
I don't
I
really
went.
like me.
I only ever pay to see this one lady medium, and she's Romany Gypsy. She is only through word of mouth. She doesn't advertise. This woman, bloody amazing, and my family had been seeing her for years. Right, so my uncle passed away. He was a true and out atheist, didn't believe in any of that stuff. It's all rubbish, you know. So anyway, I've gone up to see this woman, and I've gone to her gate near her garden, opened the gate, gone in, turned around, closed it, shut the gate properly because she's got animals. Walked into her house, knocked on the door. She opened the door, and then she's looking over my shoulder. She kept looking over my shoulder, and then she put her thumb up like that, and then waved. And I turned around and had a look. There's no fucker there. Like, who are you waving at? So we've gone in. She's done her usual, made a cup of tea. And she said, I must say, she said, before we start, she says, that older gentleman, she said, he's much older than you. And she described him. She said, dark hair, big smiley face, and a great big gap in between his teeth. He's just waving you through, and just to let you know that he's okay. He's fine where he is. He's okay. And I thought, how the fuck would she know about my Uncle John? Family trait, big gap in the teeth. That was the telltale sign. And she did say, she said, I've got to tell you to tell his best friend that he got his 50p. Nobody ever knew about this 50p. They had a bet. Him and his best friend both got cancer. And he bet her, I bet you 50p I die before you. She says, I bet you 50p you don't. He said, you're on. He goes, whoever goes first has to put 50p in the hand of the person while they're lying in their coffin. You're on. Of course, she had to go and put the 50p in his hand while he was in his coffin at the funeral directors. And I had to go in with her, and I think it was my mum that did it in the end because I was too scared to touch him. She put the 50p in his hand from her, and she mentioned the 50p. And this woman just blew me away with all the stuff she was going on. She said, yeah, he just wanted to know he was all right. So, yeah. And that was the only medium, the only one and only time a family member came through like that until many, many, many years later. An off-air Ad Bougis, he's a Dutch medium and healer, spoke about my granddad. And it wasn't my British granddad either. It was the only one, the only other time. So yeah, I was quite impressed with that. But these are the only two people that I would personally recommend. Really, but there you go. Can any of you wear wristwatches? I can't because they go dead all the time, and my energy gels the batteries in 1 week. Wow.
Do you know what? I had that when I was younger. That happened, but as I grew up, it stopped. They work now. But yeah, when I was a kid, that used to do that.
What about wearing those necklaces that have the watches on? Try that out. See if that happens.
That's probably what it is, Mark.
Yeah.
You do, Viv, don't you?
I can't get them to work. I see the mist, and I wait for the mist to clear, and then nothing.
Huh.
I've only ever seen something once in a crystal ball, and that was a skull. And it wasn't a reflection. And it was when I was on an investigation. Somebody had a crystal ball, so we had to look in there, and I just see this skull form,
Wow.
and it looked like it was smiling at me.
Right.
You know. But
Some of them are beautiful, aren't they?
oh yeah,
Oh, excuse me.
mechanical watches. They're going to be worth some money now. The mechanical watches, aren't they? They
think
don't
so.
make them anymore, do they? They're easy. It's divination. Do you know what? Same as a crystal ball, scrying in water to see what you see in water. Now, I find that amazing, but I try and use like a dark pan and put it, you know, and turn the lights off, and yeah, it takes a while to do, but I find water divination really my thing more than a crystal ball, to be
Wow.
fair. Yeah. Ooh.
Oh, that's the young guy, isn't it? Is that the young guy, Cliff? He lives in Hollywood, doesn't he? Is that the young fella?
Yeah, we will get together and do one at some point, Wayne. Definitely.
So does Rita.
Rita sort of had one already, hasn't she? Sort of.
Yeah.
I'll have to do Rita's face to face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I know the guy. I know him, yeah.
Mark made his own scrying mirror and he loves it.
That's cool. That's cool.
Oh, these are jumping really quickly.
Mm.
Same here with the ball. Been told me to put it in a bowl of water.
Oh, okay.
Be careful because you can't put all crystals in water. Some of them dissolve depending on what you use. If you have a glass one, I'm sure it'll be fine. But if it's an actual proper crystal, be careful before you put it in water.
Yeah.
Because it dissolves them, I believe. Sounds cool. Yeah, in the water. Do you know what? Would it be good to do it in a swimming pool? Do you get in the water with on a hot summer's day? That's just
I didn't know getting you carted out. She's still there for 3 hours just looking at the water.
yeah.
Yeah, it's relaxing, isn't it? It's really, really relaxing. You
But
can get
it's
lost
the
in time
sounds.
with that.
But the sounds as well, like of a babbling brook or something, it's quite hypnotic, and it can
Beautiful.
put you into that state without you realising where things could come in and start talking to you, or you might even see Faye.
Water's gorgeous. Water's absolutely stunning. That's why I like the ocean. You get lost just looking at that.
Mm.
Yeah, it's glass. Do you keep your crystal ball covered? Because if you're using crystal ball for divination, aren't you supposed to keep them covered so there's no interference from the outside?
I don't know.
I think William would know more than me, but I'm sure you have to keep them covered. You can't have them on display and out in the sunlight and exposed. I think you have to keep them covered.
Oh, okay.
I think.
Did they charge them?
You can do.
Would that be moonlight, or would that be? I guess it would be, wouldn't it? Because sunlight would damage it, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on your type of crystal ball and what you're using. Moonlight, you can bury them in the soil and dig them up. You can put them in moonlight, moon water. I made moon water, yeah, and drink that. And you can also cleanse it and wash it in moon water.
Wow.
You can put it under the tap and wash it like you would your hands, depending on what the crystal is. Smudging is
years ago, she was big on crystals. She used to use them all the time, and she still is mad on. I'm supposed for a while, but she's manic with crystals are concerned. And she used to wash them under running water at brooks.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Smudging's another good thing. Like I smudge my Ouija boards if they're used. and I use incense for my smudging, but you can put them over the fire. I mean, don't set them on fire, obviously, but you got to be really careful. But with smudging, but I love smudging. I smudge myself as well.
Really?
I haven't done it for a long time. Maybe I should.
Smells nice though, doesn't it, as well?
I need to smudge you, Dan. You need something.
I do. One smudge just wouldn't be enough.
It's just like, Dan, just sit in this chair here. Don't worry worry about what I'm doing between your legs on the floor. Like,
I'll leave about
Set
90
it fire.
smudges, mate, to make any difference.
that'd be funny. Be going, I can't breathe.
So I just call out whether I want looking at my ceiling and asking for quite a specific spirit, but I want to, but I always close the window after each session.
Yeah. I feel something hairy between my legs.
Oh, but
It's John. Johnny Puss
Stop.
coming up.
Well,
What is
this-
it?
Open
Sunday
it.
I can't. Okay, it's done. Waiting a tail.
Oh,
hey,
There he is. Oh, hang on. Don't walk all over the
how are
keyboard.
you, Terry? Hope you're doing well, bud.
Wings moonshine.
mhm.
Aw. Hey, John.
Can't sit too close to water zone now. Yes. Yeah, I know that, Jeanette. I know that feeling.
All right, 2 Willies.
Hey, young Terence.
There.
Really?
That's all. That's weird.
Sandalwood. I love sandalwood. Or the other one I use. What's that wood that I've got, Dan? That funny old wood. You know what I mean, don't you?
Yeah. It's like quite expensive, isn't it? I know. I can't think of the name, but I know the one you mean. Jewelry show.
I'm going to.
Oh wow!
Palo Santo. That's the one.
That's it.
That's the one.
That's it.
Yeah, sandalwood's gorgeous. I suppose that's the Indian in me that likes sandalwood. So the crystals, if you're going to a crystal show, I would say anything with a very, very good clarity that you'll see some that are not good quality and some that are a better quality. For me personally, I go for size. I like a big crystal, not these like here.
Mhm.
So that's,
Would that be like would that be a tumblestone? Viv?
That's a tumblestone, but they're good for gridding. If you're one of these people that are very very much into your crystal gridding, they're perfect. And even chips are good for gridding. But yeah, I got a large piece of smoky quartz for my protection thing. Yeah, I love quartz. But John, what on earth? You have to look at this. Look.
Yeah.
He's made himself flat.
Gonna hate.
So I can't use the keyboard now. So, oh dear, he's funny. He's Miss Bloody. I like rough stones.
Yeah, nice the rough ones.
John, don't touch me when I'm putting my finger on the mouse.
Don't roll over.
Wow.
God.
Blue tiger's eye I've discovered.
I've not heard of that one.
So pretty.
Not heard of that one.
So, do you want to wrap it up here, guys?
Can do.
We Dan and I. Are you on tomorrow night, Dan?
Yeah, who's on tomorrow night?
Just me and you tomorrow night.
Oh, then I'll be on tomorrow night.
We're going to have a catch up. We need a major
we'll
catch up. So. And then
we'll
Eric is back with us
and I'll
next
beg for
week.
money.
What?
This Sunday. Eric and I will be on this Sunday at 7:00, and we will be doing breathing exercises.
Ooh.
We will be doing breathing exercises that we did promise. So we are getting back to it
Excuse me.
with the spiritual hour. So we do need to. So this Sunday at 7. Are you going on Thursday, Dan?
I won't Thursday. No. I'm going to leave. That will be coming very soon. But
To be announced.
But it's just, I'm sorry I put it all back, guys. Sorry, it's been a pain in the bum.
So yeah, we will be back tomorrow night on the Simply Spooky Network at 8:00. So we hope you can join us then. Eric, I need to send you some videos. I don't know if the videos are any good, but we'll see. If not, we'll go out and take some more, so it's not an issue. But I thought while we're at a famous place that I'd show off your REM pod. But
Nice.
it was great having you there and doing the investigation with me. And I think we need to do some more of that if you're up for it, Eric.
Oh, yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be good.
So that's something to look forward to.
Mhm.
So before we go, we have something very urgent that we need to do for
No.
next week. Dan, you're picking.
Oh.
Mm.
Okay. Stop.
Stop.
Got one. I got one.
One to do.
This is what we're talking about next week. Interesting.
Oh,
There was a fair few of them came out of the woodwork during lockdown, didn't they?
mm,
So when we talk about armchair ghost hunters, that's going to be a hilarious show. But we won't be mentioning names. Well, we might mention the odd one or two.
Before we go, can I just ask Irene something?
mm.
Yeah.
Hi, Irene. Could you send me some of that sexy anime stuff that you've got over there, please?
I thought he was going to ask for Pokemon or something.
Hookman.
Poker anime. Oh, nice, Wayne. Have a good
Oh,
time.
yeah.
Best
You'll
of
like
luck
it there,
with
Wayne. We did it in December, didn't we,
We
Dan?
did. Oh, God, it was cold. God, I've never felt
Wrap
anything
up
like
all.
it. In fact, it was so bad I stopped feeling things after 5 minutes.
No.
It was a funny investigation. Damn, we'd have to find the film and put it up.
There's got
Did
to be
we
some
film?
somewhere, isn't there? Did
Did
film?
we film? I can't
It might be too
remember.
cold. Everything froze. I think there might be some of it. Oh, I'll find it. I'll let her find it.
Hang on.
You'll need your long johns on. Yes, Irene. Bless you, Irene.
Don't get him any. He has ghosts touching him up all the time. Oh dear. So we are going to shoot off. Thank you for joining us tonight. As ever, we can't do this without you guys in the chat, and you have all been absolutely superb. And thank you very much for your input as well. We do appreciate that.
Thanks, everyone.
But,
Yes, thank you.
so we'll see you next week. We'll be talking about armchair ghost hunters. It's going to be a funny old talk and discussion. It might even get heated at times, but there you go. That's just us. We will speak to you hopefully tomorrow night. But until then,
Definitely.
take care, everyone.
Take it easy, everybody. Speak to you soon. Bye.
Oh,
good
I
week.
can't end this. I can't end it.
Can't remember it again. Juggling or
Let
something.
me end
Just
it.
a bit of